So the piece I want to just give a high-level overview is a project I've been doing with some of my colleagues who are listed here. Amir Mofidi, who's actually here. He's one of the ambassadors with the bands. Arif Jetha, Pam Lay, he's also here, and then Alexis Bootkin. But this project is a really good example of what somebody mentioned earlier. I think Steve mentioned about government as a partner. This project really shows how if we work together, we can do really great work. Even though I led this project, so much depended on the great data resources and the expertise of people in ESDC and Statistics Canada and many others to help put together this project. So I just want to emphasize that part of that this is a really collaborative effort. This was something where we were tasked to answer this following question. What would be the benefits to Canadian society in the reference year 2017? And we're using that year because that's when the CSD was done, so we had data from that year 2017. So if Canada was accessible and inclusive in all domains relevant to full participation. So this is looking at all social domains, not exclusively on work roles, but we do drill down on work as well. And I have that gold bar there because this is a gold standard. This is the ideal. If we were fully accessible and inclusive as a society, this is what we could gain from where we are at today. So we drilled down, doing something what we described as a bottom-up approach where we had very detailed micro-level data to build up the experiences of individuals in Canadian society and aggregate it up across all of Canada in these 14 domains. So we were looking at healthcare expenses, out-of-pocket expenses, output and productivity issues, quality of life and social role engagement, life expectancy, informal caregiving, children with disabilities, human rights, transportation, tourism, general productivity, administration of social safety net programs, pensions, and then looking at what we described as a market multiplier effect, to all those spillover effects to the broader market because people have higher incomes and have more consumption ability because they're not in poverty. So we tried to be comprehensive as best we could of all the social domains that would be affected by having a fully inclusive and accessible Canada. And this is just our conceptual model. You probably won't see the details here, but there's those 14 honeycombs of different domains that I've just listed, and that overarching research question of what would be the benefits to Canadian society if we were fully inclusive and accessible. So this is the findings at a high level, and I'll just highlight the key ones. So the total benefits we estimated for the calendar year 2017 was $338 billion. And that's just 1 year's of benefits, and that's 17.6% of GDP. The labor market component on its own was $62.2 billion. So that's 3.2% of GDP. So a huge potential that is not being tapped into because we're not fully accessible and inclusive today, but that a potential that we could reach out to and move towards as a gold standard target where we'd like to be ideally. I'll just detail some of the other items here. So as you see in the top line here, we have the total benefits, lower healthcare expenses at about $20 billion. The productivity component is $62 billion. Quality of life and social role engagement at $132 billion. The spillover effects to the larger market at $76 billion, and then market multiplier effects at $47 billion for that total of $337.7 billion. And then this is just my last slide because I was giving them my minute warning. The other important point we wanted to get at was this is not going to be a cost to government necessarily because the spillover effects result in lots of tax revenue, higher labor market earnings result in higher tax revenue. So we try to identify how much revenue the government would get from this expansion of markets essentially. So as you can see here, we have both federal level expansion of revenue and provincial level expansion of revenue through various tax venues. So tax revenue from output and productivity impacts was $17 billion for the federal government and $18 billion for provincial and territorial governments. The total sum of all these tax revenues at the federal level is about $30 billion and about $33 billion for the provincial governments. So quite a large windfall for government that can then be used for various program and service provision opportunities that would help realize some of these benefits of being fully inclusive and accessible. So there's a win-win there, and I'll just reiterate the point that this was really possible because of the great data resources we have here in Canada, it really helped to be able to drill down on a lot of the details of these things. This report, by the way, is available on the remember that the drilling that's going on next door, so don't panic. The report is quite extensive, is available on the DWC website, and which is also a page within our CRWDP website if people want more details about it. So thank you.